We often talk about sincerity and truth, yet few truly understand authenticity does not come from merely telling the truth, but from how you show up in life. Welcome to the Inner World Podcast. I am Liam Johnson, your companion on the journey of awakening inner awareness, nurturing wisdom, and building enduring character. Here, we do not teach you how to impress others. We teach you how to become trustworthy, not through conversational skills, but through an inner presence. Today marks the final session of our 21-part series, Elevating Inner Awareness, a journey that, for those who have truly walked it, feels like more than just 21 days. It is as if several years have been condensed into your mind, and you will come to understand when your inner state is in balance, time is no longer measured in minutes and seconds, but in the transformations within you. In our previous session, we spoke about character and humility, an essential foundation for building a person from the root. And today I want to take you one step further into the path that truly helps you grow beyond the ordinary. There is a certain paradox. People spend their youth developing skills, yet only dedicate the final years of their life to cultivating character. People work tirelessly to learn how to earn money, but never learn how to live authentically. So even if they are wealthy in possessions, they remain poor in spirit. And that is why today we will explore together a remarkable shift in how we experience time when our inner state changes. 3 tangible expressions of a person with genuine character. And finally, the deepest essence of authenticity, something never taught in school, yet something everyone will subconsciously judge when they meet you. Especially in the final part of today's episode, I will share with you a key principle that helps you free yourself from judgment, from the effort of trying to be authentic, and step into a state of presence where you no longer need to prove anything. That is when authenticity reveals itself without effort. Let us begin. Have you ever felt that within the same span of time, some events seem to pass very quickly, while others feel as if they last forever? That is not because time itself has changed. It is because the state of your inner self has transformed. And when your vibrational frequency is elevated, you will feel that time passes very quickly, and the opposite is also true. So have you ever wondered, why is it that some people only need a single moment to change their lives, while others spend their entire lives without learning a single lesson? It is because the value of time does not lie in the number of minutes and seconds, but in the quality of your inner self when you live in that moment. You know, we often say, time is gold. It sounds vague, because if it were that simple, why is it that one person's single hour of life can be worth an entire year of someone else's? The truth is, time does not create value. Your inner self is what activates the value of time. When a person's inner self is unstable and chaotic, even after 10 years, they can still end up right where they started, only older. But when your inner self is balanced, every moment becomes an opportunity. You learn from a single sentence. You gain understanding from a single glance. And more importantly, you begin to listen to yourself. In today's society, people rush to learn skills, tools, and strategies. They race against time, against technology, and toward grand goals. But then they sigh, why does time fly so fast? Why am I still not enough? Why do I feel lost? The answer is not in time, but in the state of your inner self. Have you noticed when you are truly immersed in something, like a deep conversation or an inspiring lesson, you no longer think about time? You become your true self, living fully in the present moment. And that is what creates the feeling of passing quickly yet profoundly. That is the principle, a law of life. Where the inner state is stable, there time becomes flexible. Where the inner state is chaotic, there time becomes a burden. And once you grasp this principle, you will no longer ask, "How can I have more time?" You will ask, "How can I live more deeply in every moment?" Only when you know how to create value from a single hour can you truly master an entire lifetime. And this lesson does not come from books, but from experience, from a state of inner stillness, clarity, and direction. So the question for you is, are you living in time or merely passing through it? Are you using time for something, or are you letting time use you? Have you ever stopped long enough to feel how different time becomes when your inner state is in balance? Take just 1 minute to turn inward and listen to yourself. Because when you change the way you perceive time, you are changing the way you live. The issue is not about speed, but about depth. It is not about how many tasks you complete today, but about how much of your true self you live today. And I will let you answer this question for yourself. Because sometimes it is the act of listening from within that becomes the beginning of true growth. When you begin to realize that the value of time does not lie in its length, but in its depth, you may also start to notice that there is something even more precious than time, the way your true self is present in each of those moments. And here an important question arises. Do the people you meet truly see the real you? We often assume that authenticity is a virtue, but I invite you to reconsider that. In reality, authenticity is not something you try to create. It is something that naturally reveals itself when you have nothing left to hide, no reason to defend, and no need to perform. Everyone knows that the eyes are the windows to the soul. But perhaps we have forgotten an obvious truth. Only when your soul is clear can that window shine. Pay close attention when someone's inner self is full of calculation. Their eyes cannot truly rest. They move quickly, sharply, or without direction. Meanwhile, those with a balanced inner self have eyes that radiate simplicity, steadiness, and calm. There is nothing much to prove and nothing to conceal. Because they know authenticity does not come from telling the truth, but from living the truth. Then there is speech. We often believe that speaking well is a skill, but in truth, speaking authentically is the highest form. A truly moving statement does not come from vocabulary, but from the state of the inner self behind the words. When a person speaks with a mind full of judgments, expectations, and attachments, no matter how elegant the words, the listener can still sense the lack of purity. Have you ever heard someone say something simple, yet it stirred your heart? It is because they were not speaking with their mouth alone. They spoke with their heart, with complete presence, and with truth unobscured by thought. And the third element, perhaps the most important, is the way you listen. Listening may seem easy, but listening with wisdom and mindfulness is an art. When you listen while your mind is busy analyzing, engaging in inner dialogue, or reacting emotionally, you are not truly listening. You are waiting to respond, not listening to understand. To know you are listening is a third-level state of awareness, a higher tier of wisdom, where you are present with the other person, without rushing to judge, without being swept away by emotion. In that state, the other person can feel, this person is truly listening to me. And trust, connection, and healing begin there. Now imagine if a person has simple eyes, clear words, and deep listening, do they need to perform anymore? They do not. Because that person has a genuine character. And genuine character does not come from education, it comes from practicing a certain state of inner self. I know this may feel unfamiliar to many. Today's society teaches us how to speak, how to present, how to impress, but very few teach us how to be present in a state that does not need to impress. That is why the content you are following here at Inner World Podcast is not just a talk. It is a journey to bring you back to the truth within yourself. And the wonderful thing is, when you reconnect with your own genuine character, you also begin to connect with the genuine character of others. So pause and ask yourself, when you look in the mirror, do your eyes reflect a simple soul? When you speak, do you feel your words pass through a layer of mental projections, or do they arise from clarity? When you listen, are you truly present, or just waiting for your turn to speak? Because in the end, authenticity is not about trying to be authentic, but about having nothing left to hide. In that place, the state of your inner self is light, and you become a person who no longer needs complexity. Begin practicing this from your eyes to your words, to every moment you truly listen to someone. You will see, character is not something you create. It is something that gradually reveals itself, like a flower blooming in stillness. And do you know what is even more wonderful than recognizing genuine character through the eyes, words, and listening? It is understanding the true essence of authenticity. Most people believe that to live authentically, we must think correctly, have clear convictions, and speak the truth with sharp words. But then they discover that does not make them more trusted. It does not make others want to be closer to them. And, most importantly, it does not make them feel more at peace. Why is that? Because authenticity does not come from thought. It may sound paradoxical, but it is the truth, and it is one of the greatest things forgotten in today's society. We have become so accustomed to thinking that telling the truth is being authentic, yet we use anger to tell the truth, use our moods to express opinions, and use our wounds to impose emotions. And all of that leads to a distorted truth. Authenticity, in essence, is presence without carrying a mood. Imagine sitting next to someone who does not speak much, yet you can clearly sense this person is not judging you, not analyzing you, not trying to teach you anything. They are simply present with you. And naturally, you feel safe. That is the energy of authenticity. Today's society emphasizes expressing yourself, but very few talk about limiting thought in expression. Each day, we look but do not see. We listen but do not understand. We speak but do not touch anyone. Why? Because we carry too many projections, too many moods, too many desires to become someone. While an authentic person does not try to become, they simply are themselves. In their gaze, the authentic person limits thought, so their eyes are still. Not the gaze of someone analyzing, but the gaze of someone who is there for you. In their speech, they limit imagination, so their language is clear, gentle, and free from pressure. In their listening, they limit reaction, so every word you say is received in deep stillness. There is a principle like this. The fewer thoughts in a moment, the more truth is revealed. And authenticity is not something you create, it is something that is seen when you are no longer covered by thought. Do you remember this saying? Authenticity does not come from thought. Wherever thought is limited, authenticity will gradually reveal itself over time. This is not theory, it is lived experience. Many people wonder why they cannot build lasting relationships, why their words are not heard, why they always feel unseen and misunderstood. Perhaps they have not understood one thing. Others do not need you to explain authenticity. They need you to be present with authenticity. So the question for you is, have you ever listened to someone without carrying emotion? Have you ever looked at someone without labeling them? Have you ever said something without the need to be acknowledged? If not, then perhaps you have never truly been present in your own authenticity. And the beautiful thing is, you do not need to develop authenticity. You only need to remove the excess layers of thought, so authenticity naturally emerges. Because authenticity is not a higher state, it is a less state. Less thought, less reaction, less judgment, yet more presence, more quality. Make that a habit. Each day, take just one moment to limit thought, lower your mood, and choose presence. Just one moment like that. But if repeated long enough, you will become the person others want to be around, not because you are impressive, but because you are real. And in a world full of people who speak too much, the one who limits thought, the one who is present with authenticity, is the one who leaves the deepest mark. My dear friend, there are things in life that cannot be seen immediately with the eyes, yet can be clearly felt with the heart, with the stillness within the inner self. Authenticity is one of those things. We have just walked together through 3 layers of a profound journey. From how the state of the inner self influences the perception of time, to the expression of genuine character through the eyes, words, and listening, and finally to the essence of authenticity, not born from effort, but from presence free of mood. If you find value in this content, I do not simply hope you click like or subscribe just to show support. I hope you do so only when you truly feel it. That Inner World podcast is not a place to consume information, but a space to nurture depth within, for yourself and for those you care about. If you know someone who is struggling between staying true to themselves and flowing with life, send them this video as a quiet gift. Because when a person is present enough, true enough, the world does not need them to be impressive. The world only needs them to be themselves. I look forward to seeing you in the next sharing session. And remember, each time you live authentically, the world becomes a little lighter. And who knows, perhaps you will be the reason someone chooses to believe in genuine character again.